Welcome to the PharmaVOICE 100 one-on-one video series with Karen Groen.
Hi, Joe. It's so great to see you again. Thanks so much for joining us for our one-on-one conversation.
Thank you. I feel like I've been away from events for a long time.
It is different days right now, for sure.
You can say that again.
Let's talk about what you're seeing in terms of the digital revolution. I know this is a passion for you.
Yeah, so I built my first website in 1996, so I've been in digital for quite a long time. And once again, it sounds like a revolution at times, and other times it's more like an evolution. And I've seen, lots of things come and go, as many of us of a certain age have. And I don't know, I just feel like the pandemic has kind of put some things in sharp relief. So if you think about digital things like telemedicine, which has been around for 20 years or more, all of a sudden it's, an overnight sensation. And if you think about on the pharma marketing side, you have virtual meetings like ASCO, totally virtual for the first time, and from what I hear was quite a success. Probably not as profitable for the meeting organizers as usual, but still promoting scientific exchange, it's still helping patients, it's still helping companies expose their new medicines and their research to the right audience. You also have I'd say virtual launches for pharma, which a lot of the small pharmas have been engaging in for quite some time just because of the lack of resources. But I think even the bigger pharmas are finding out that when your customers aren't seeing reps and your reps aren't able to leave the house, you really need to be digging deep and finding new ways to communicate your message and talk about your products. And really, it's been a very good learning experience. I mean, a few of our clients have launched products in this last 4 months, and helping them along this journey has been really fun, educational, and had a few twists and turns here and there. But I think people have really embraced it. And companies, and particularly their sales forces, have really dug deep to find new skills, to find new ways to approach their customers, to really get up every day and say, look, I know this is not normal, but we're going to do it anyway, and we're going to do the best we can. And then finally, I think, there's been a lot of digital things on the fringes that have really, have been around. People have been testing them, and they know what works and what doesn't. So I think it's been it's been a good opportunity for companies to really turn the dial up on certain tactics they know work, and put more maybe into digital media, digital publications like yours, and really try to see, if they can move the needle once again without that face-to-face contact, which has been suspended for the last few months.
Absolutely. Those are all great points. Thanks so much for sharing those. Let's go into a little bit more in depth in terms of what, if any, new skills do healthcare marketers need to be successful in this new, if we want to call it that, digital era?
Well, I'm not sure if they're new skills. I think there's a lot of tried and true skills that you just come with experience. And I'm sure there's a lot of people continuing to try to learn TikTok and whatever the next wave is of social media. But to me, there's probably 3 big skills that any product director or product manager or people on marketing operations should really try to embrace and hone as a skill. One is, as a brand director, your job is to fill in the spaces, fill in the spaces between programs, between your company and your external partners, between external partners, and you're really kind of a general contractor. So as much as you may want to roll up your sleeves and do creative work or write copy, that's really not your job. Your job is strategy and direction and really managing a team. And if we, think back to the first question, these are virtual teams. Pretty much everybody's remote, even the folks who, traditionally had been at agencies or creative departments and are used to working close together. Everyone, we've seen it on LinkedIn, we've seen it on social media. Everyone's on Zoom, and you see those, checkerboarded screens, and that is your team. So in some ways it's kind of interesting. You can see everybody in one place and say, wow, that's a lot of talent, that's a lot of power. How do I manage that? But once again, I think it's it forces people to really understand their role in product management. The second one, and this is something I think I've harped on before, is creating capabilities instead of just campaigns. And we see a lot of press around campaigns in your publication and other publications, and that's great. It really does celebrate great creative and great results. But at the same time, a lot of these campaigns are kind of short-lived, and they kind of pop up and then they go away, and the brand manager leaves, and the next one comes in and they kind of do the same thing. And I think what we've been preaching, at least at Health Accelerators, is really around creating a system, creating an architecture, creating business rules, so that if the brand manager wins the lottery, gets hit by a bus, or leaves the company, that there's continuity, there's institutional learning, and there's processes in place so that you can continue to be successful instead of just having an award-winning campaign that kind of comes and goes in 3 months. And then finally, I think for us, once again, it's about creating portfolios of solutions, not just creating, if I have a problem, I have one solution, because as you know, in pharma, it's fairly dynamic, despite what some people might think. And some tactics or some solutions or some techniques are going to become, ineffective. They're going to become too expensive. In some cases, they may start to go against the regulations or against the law. So I think it's important, let's say if you're doing lead generation, that you have 2 or 3 tactics or solutions to really start, making progress against that goal, so that if one of them burns out or once again falls by the wayside, you still have 2 other programs that you can rely on to meet your goals. So I'd say those 3 things, in my mind, are still, have been important for a long time, and they're still important, and particularly these uncertain times, as opposed to, I still think people should go out and continue to learn what's coming, in terms of digital technologies and trends and, kind of the macro world of what's happening in healthcare. But I think there's some fundamentals that people just can't ignore, and that's what we've seen, make brand management folks really successful.
Joe, I can't thank you enough for being with us and sharing your terrific insights on this digital era and where we're going. Thanks so much.
No, it's been my pleasure. I'm really looking forward to the event.
For more PharmaVoice 100 content, visit www.pharmavoice100.com.